Welcome to Anita's Online Academy, Class 10th, Subject Science, Chapter 6, Life Processes. So, life processes, as the name indicates, processes which are necessary for life. So, we can say all the processes or all the functions, all the processes or functions performed by organisms to stay alive are called life processes. So what are life processes? The processes which are necessary for life, or in other words we can say the processes or functions which are performed by organisms to stay alive. These are called life processes. Now before we discuss all the life processes in detail, let us understand what are the characteristic features of living things or organisms. That is, what are the features observing which we can decide whether this thing is living or non-living. So these are the various features observing which we can know that yes, this thing is living, and if they do not have those features, then they are non-living. Example, movement. The first characteristic, not example, first characteristic feature of living thing is movement. All the living things show movements. Movement may be of two types. One is that an organism moves from one place to another place as a whole. Means the complete body is moving from one place to another place. Then such a movement is called locomotion. What is it called? Locomotion. And another type of movement is where the body is fixed at one place and various parts are moving. So this is called movement. Actually, moving from one place to another place is also movement, and staying on one place and moving various parts are also called movement. But moving from one place to another place as a whole, this movement is named as locomotion also. So this is movement. Now you can say that it is the characteristic feature of living things, fine, because all the organisms, the animals, the human beings, okay, and other like cows, dogs, they can move from one place to another place. Even on standing one place, they can move their various parts. The plants are fixed on one place, but with the blow of air, when the wind blows, various parts of plants can also move. Okay, but you can say that some non-living things are also moving. Which non-living things? Like your scooter is moving, your car is moving, aeroplane is moving. Then why can't we call them living things? We cannot call them living things because they cannot move on their own. They cannot move on the energy produced inside them. They can move under external force only. That is, they can move with the help of some fuel. When some fuel is given to them, that fuel produces energy. Because of that fuel, the mechanical energy is produced and these machines can move. So they cannot be called as living things, though they move. In case of living things, they produce energy inside their body, and using that energy they can move. So this is the difference between living and non-living things. Now we come to nutrition. All the living things take in food and use it to perform various life processes. All the life processes are performed due to some energy, and this energy is obtained by food. And this taking in food and getting energy out of it is called nutrition. Non-living things don't need any nutrition. You must be having a sofa in your home for last 10 years. Have you ever offered him any food? No, because it does not require. It is a non-living thing. Next is growth. Growth is also possible in case of living things only. All the living things show some amount of growth. If they are animals, then they can grow up to a certain stage of life only. After that, they cannot grow. Yes, some parts of their body can grow, like nails can grow throughout the life, hair can grow throughout the life. That is some other thing. But in general, the growth of animals is restricted to certain stage of life. After certain stage of life, they do not grow. In case of plants, they can grow throughout the life. In case of some non-living things which are in your home, the table, the chair, the sofa, do they grow? No. They maintain their own size. They do not show any growth. What is growth? How will you say that this thing is growing? We can say that this thing is growing when there is some increase. Something is increasing. What is increasing? Mass, weight, and volume. Mass is increasing, weight is increasing, volume is increasing. What is mass? The amount of matter of which something is made. So earlier we were very small, of 2-3 kg weight. When at the time of when we had born, we were 2-3 kg of weight, and now you children are having 40, 45, 50 kg weight, 35, whatever be. So what has increased in your body? The matter has increased, and with the increase of matter, the weight has increased, and as a result, now you need more space to sit or sleep, isn't it? Now you occupy more space as compared to when you were small babies. So when we grow, mass, weight and volume increases, and it is not in case of non-living things. This is shown by living things only. Now response to stimuli. What is a stimuli? The singular is stimulus and plural is stimuli. So stimuli are changes in our environment, in our surroundings, which make us to respond. The changes in environment or surrounding of a living being which makes it to respond, which makes it to react, are called responses. Suppose some tasty food is being cooked in your kitchen and you smell it, then you will notice that your mouth is watering, because this mouth watering is response to the stimulus which is coming from the kitchen. Okay. Similarly, suppose your hand has accidentally touched to iron, then suddenly you remove your hand away. So what was the stimulus? What was the change in your environment? What was the change in the surroundings around your hand? That the temperature has suddenly increased. As you brought the hand near the iron, then your hand felt sudden increase in temperature, and what was the response? That you just removed your hand away. So there are so many reactions, so many responses that living organisms show to a stimulus. Even in case of plants also, they are also living. You must be knowing that whenever you have a potted plant and you keep it in a window, then it always gets sunlight from one direction only. Then you will see that it is growing. The stem and branches are growing in the direction of sunlight. That is, the plant is bent in the direction of sunlight. So what is this? This is response to stimulus. Other thing is that suppose there is a plant touch me not. If you bring your finger close to that touch me not plant, then what will it do? It will coil its leaves suddenly. So what is that? Because this particular plant, touch me not, is shows a response towards the stimulus of touch. As it is touched, it will coil its leaves and will coil its leaves away from that touch. So that touch is a stimulus and the response is coiling the leaves by the plant. So many things are there in nature, so many stimuli there in the nature, in response of which various animals and plants react. So these are called responses to stimuli. Now, next comes respiration. What is respiration? You must be having some idea. We breathe in air which is rich in oxygen, we give out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, this is called our external respiration. There is one cellular respiration. You know, the oxygen that you take in goes in lungs, and from lungs to all the parts of body. We will discuss this process in detail here only. In short, the oxygen goes to every part of body, and every part of body is made up of cells. So oxygen reaches to every cell, and the food that we take, that is also digested, and it converts in the form of glucose. That glucose also reaches to every part of cell with blood. Oxygen reaches to every cell, and glucose also reaches to every cell. There, that oxygen burns the glucose, that is, it reacts with glucose and breaks this glucose down into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. So this is the purpose of respiration. Why do we respire? So that the oxygen which we are taking in our body can break down our food substance to release energy. Now next, excretion. Various vital activities, various processes are taking place in our body, and during these processes various chemical reactions are taking place, and as a result of those chemical reactions we get some useful products, and as a result of these chemical reactions some useless or waste products are also formed, and even they are toxic, they are poisonous for us. They must be removed, they must not be accumulated in our body, otherwise they may create some diseases to our body. So these toxic or waste substances are removed out of body. Even in plants also there are phenomena of excretion. We will discuss in separate topic. And in animals, the excretion, you know, even all the animals and human beings, they throw out their excreta and urine and all that, and sweat and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide we can take as a part of respiration. Otherwise, urine and other excreta and sweat, they are excreted because they are not useful for our body. Now next is reproduction. This is also the characteristic feature of living organism. The organisms have a characteristic feature that they can produce small organisms, or we can say offsprings, or we can say young babies of their own kind. It is must. Mango tree can produce mango only. Human beings can give birth to human beings only. Dogs can give birth to dogs only. So this is this process by which living organisms give birth to young member of their own kind is called reproduction. Now children, one question may arise in your mind here. Response to stimuli, that one person who is in coma, will he be called dead? No, he will not be called dead. He is on life-saving devices, but okay, fine, it is an exception. In general, we will say that all the living organisms are capable of responding to stimuli. Also reproduction, you may say that it is not necessary that everybody may have children. Some people are not having children, but we cannot say they are not alive. Sometimes because of some problem, they may not have children, but still they show other features, so they are alive. So we cannot say reproduction as essential feature, but it is also a characteristic feature of organisms. Some people may not have, don't want to have children. Also, it does not mean that they are not alive. So reproduction is a characteristic feature, but if some organisms, some people are not having children, still they are alive, still they are living beings. Now see children, so these are the various features by which we can say, yes, this thing, this particular thing is showing all these features, so it is a living thing. And the particular thing which is not showing these features is non-living thing. Now, okay, these various functions are performed by living things, and in between many times I have used the word energy. Energy is released, energy is released. Okay, so this energy is required for every organism to perform these functions which keep them alive. And where does this energy comes from? This energy is obtained from food. Okay, now food is obtained by various organisms in various ways that we will discuss after a short while. So energy is required by all the living organisms, whether they are plant, animals, small plants, small animals, big plants, big animals, unicellular, multicellular. All the organisms need energy for performing their functions which are necessary for them to stay alive. Now this energy comes from food. Okay, we take in food. But this taking in food is not enough. There is a whole process by which we utilize this food to produce energy. So this whole process is called nutrition. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of taking in food and utilizing it for production of energy. What is nutrition? The process of taking in food and utilizing it for the production of energy is called nutrition. The word nutrition derives from word nutrients. Nutrition word is derived from nutrient. And nutrient, what are nutrients? These are the substances which we take as food so that we can get energy for our work. Whatever work we are doing, whatever functions we are performing, we can get energy from those substances. So nutrients are the substances which are taken to produce energy, and nutrition is the process by which we can obtain energy out of these nutrients. Okay. I think all these points are clear to you now. Now, nutrients we are talking about. Nutrients there are 5 main types of nutrients. One is carbohydrates, then fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. Okay, these are 5 main kinds of nutrients: carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals, and they are taken because they provide us energy and they provide us everything that is required by our body to perform various functions. Now, besides these 5 nutrients, water and roughage, they are also essential parts of our nutrition. Okay, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, water and roughage. Okay. So these 5 are main nutrients. Carbohydrates provides us energy. Fats also provide us energy. Proteins are required for making our tissues and for repairing the damage of our cells. Means whenever we are hurt or any damage is inside our body or outside our body, that is repaired with the help of proteins. Vitamins and minerals keep us away from the diseases. They save us from some particular kind of diseases. Water is the essential part of our body. About 75% of our 75 or more than that is made up of water, and roughage are required for cleaning purpose. These things we will discuss in detail in some topic wherever they will be required. Here only we can say that these are the various important nutrients which are required by our body. Okay. Now we come to nutrition in plants. Before we come to nutrition in plants, let us discuss various ways of nutrition or modes of nutrition. Yes, children. Now we are talking about modes of nutrition. All the organisms, modes of nutrition in all the organisms can be divided into two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Okay. First of all, we are talking about autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, auto means by itself. Trophic nutrition means when a living organism is making its food on its own, then it is called autotrophic mode of nutrition. And this is true for green plants. Now, in a little detail, we can say the green plants show the autotrophic mode of nutrition because they can synthesize their own food using simple inorganic substances. See children, you must remember one thing, that the food which is taken in or which is utilized by us are in the form of organic substances. All the organisms except autotrophs take their food in the form of organic substances. And organic substances are those which have carbon and hydrogen essentially, along with oxygen, nitrogen and other substances, but carbon and hydrogen must be present together in the same compound. Then it is called organic compound. So all the organisms take organic food directly, but in case of green plants, they prepare their own organic food using inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water. We will see the all the reaction in detail later. So, what is autotrophic mode of nutrition? It is a mode of nutrition in which green plants and also photosynthetic bacteria, they utilize simple inorganic substances to synthesize their organic food themselves. Okay. In case of green plants, this process is called photosynthesis. We will discuss photosynthesis in detail after this topic. Now we come to heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Hetero means others, trophic means nutrition. When organisms get their nutrition from other organisms, then this is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they are not capable of taking inorganic substances directly from their environment and then converting it into organic substances, but they have to take some ready-made organic substances. They are called heterotrophic organisms or heterotrophs, and this mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. I repeat, heterotrophic mode of nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which living organisms or living beings get their nutrition from other organisms. Now these other organisms may be plants or some other animals. Now this heterotrophic mode of nutrition can be divided into three main types. One is saprophytic mode of nutrition, then parasitic and holozoic mode of nutrition. First of all, saprophytic mode of nutrition. In this type of mode of nutrition, the organisms release they take their nutrition from dead and decaying matter. Saprophytic, in case of saprophytic nutrition, the organisms which take or which show this type of mode of nutrition, the organisms which show saprophytic mode of nutrition are called saprophytes. Okay, they are called autotrophs, they are called heterotrophs, these are called saprophytes. So what these saprophytes do, they get nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter. They get nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter. So how do they get nutrition from that dead and decaying organic matter? They secrete some digestive juices on this dead and decaying organic matter, by which it is digested outside. Now what is the meaning of digestion? Conversion of complex food material into simpler food material. Conversion of complex food substances into simpler food substances. So here what saprophytes are doing? They are secreting some digestive juices on dead and decaying organic matter outside their body. And outside the body, these nutrients are, organic substances are digested and now come in the form of liquid. And this liquid is then sucked by these saprophytes. As you drink cold drink with a straw, in the same way, they also suck the digested liquid substance. And how this digested liquid substance formed? By secreting digestive juices on dead and decaying matter outside the body. Outside it is digested and directly digested substance is taken in. Got it? So this is called saprophytic mode of nutrition. This type of nutrition is shown by bread molds. One example of bread mold is mucor. Mucor is the name of, these are actually fungus. Yeast, mushroom, all these are fungi. Fungus is singular, fungi is plural. So these fungi mainly show this type of saprophytic mode of nutrition. You must have seen that a bread which is kept for some time out of refrigerator for 2-3 days, then you can see that some bad smell is coming from it. This bad smell is because these organisms like bread molds, they are present in the air and they attack the bread. Okay, and they secrete some digestive juices. When they secrete some digestive juices on this bread, and their reactions, chemical reactions start. Because of those reactions, some gases are released, and as a result, we can feel the bad smell. After some time, they just take nutrition from it, and they develop further, and the bread becomes black. So these are the various stages of life cycle of bread molds. We will discuss in the topic reproduction. Okay, so here we can say only that these why the things which are why the eatables start smelling when they are not kept in fridge and they are kept on normal room temperature outside, because this type of organisms, they are microorganisms, so we cannot see them. They secrete digestive juices, some chemical reactions take place by which these food substances are digested, and now they will be taken or sucked by these organisms. Okay, so this is all about saprophytic mode of nutrition. Now we come to parasitic mode of nutrition. Parasites are organisms which depend on other organism for their food. They live on or inside their body. Okay, so they are dependent on living organisms, not like saprophytes, which are dependent on dead and decaying organic matter. Parasites are dependent on living organisms. They live on or inside their body and they suck all the nutrition from their body. Means that organism on which they are living or inside they are living, that organism digests its food, and this digested food is taken by these parasites for their nutrition. So what happens when this stays? So what is parasitic mode of nutrition? A mode of nutrition in which an organism is dependent on another living organism. It lives on or inside its body, and in turn it gives that organism disease. These parasites, they live on an organism. That organism is known as host. Okay, parasitic organism or parasites, they are called parasites. Parasites live on an organism or inside an organism for nutrition, for getting nutrition. So that organism on which they are living is called host. So parasites are the organisms which take digested food from another living organism by living on or inside its body, and that organism is called host, and in turn the parasites give that host disease. You know why they give it disease? Because they take all the nutrition from that organism. They live on host, they live inside the body of host and take all the nutrition from that host, so that host becomes diseased. Examples are various fungi, bacteria, some protozoa like Plasmodium vivax. Plasmodium is a protozoa which is a parasite of human beings and mosquitoes, and it causes malaria. Okay, it takes nutrition from our blood and in turn it gives some disease to us which is called malaria. Now roundworms, they live in intestine of mammals and they take all the nutrition from there. What happens when something is taken raw like fruits and vegetables and they are not washed properly, then eggs of this worm enter in our body, and inside the intestine then these eggs develop into worms, and now these worms inside intestine, when food is digested, these worms take all that digested food. And you must have seen that some children eat a lot of food in childhood, but still they do not grow because all the nutrition is taken by these roundworms which are present in his intestine. Now next is Cuscuta. It is a plant. It is a climbing plant, climber. Okay, so it climbs. It is also known as Amar bale. You must have heard the name. It is yellowish in color. That means it is a plant, but it does not have chlorophyll, so it cannot prepare its own food. So it is a parasitic plant, and it is a climber also. It is a bale, Amar bale. So this bale climbs around a stem of a tree, and when it climbs around, it takes all the nutrition from that tree. So this is Cuscuta or Amar bale. So parasitic mode of nutrition. Next is holozoic mode of nutrition, in which solid food stuff is taken in, it is digested, and then from that digested food the nutrition is obtained. So the examples are mammals including human beings. We all take in solid food, it is digested, then digested food is absorbed and taken to various parts of various cells of our body, and then energy is released. So this is called holozoic mode of nutrition. Mammals, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, all of them show this type of mode of nutrition. Even amoeba, which is only a unicellular animal, it also shows holozoic mode of nutrition. That is, it also takes its food from outside, digests it and obtains energy. Now children, we will talk about nutrition in plants in detail.